Hello viewers, my name is Novuyo Seagirl and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Accountability Conversations. And today with me I've got beautiful ladies here as my guests, and we are going to talk about, as we know that we are commemorating the World International Peace Day. So we're going to have a chit chat on pertaining that. So before I go further, I'd love these beautiful ladies to introduce themselves. Starting on my right.
Thank you very much, Seagirl. Ntombizakhe Moyo-Nyoni, doctor, a lecturer with Midland State University under the Department of Peace Studies, and I'm also a facilitator for the Alternative to Violence project. Thank you.
Okay. And on my left, we've got Otto. Thato, please tell the viewers about yourself, a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, I am Otto. I am a law student and I am a human rights defender and a mental health advocate, and more of a peace and reconciliation protege sort of, if I can put it that way. That's basically it.
Alright, there you have it. So ladies, we are commemorating World Peace International Day. So I want to start with you, Thato, since you mentioned that you are a human rights activist, and I want to ask you this question: where do you think is Zim? Where is Zim in the context of peace? Do you think Zim is peaceful?
Okay, that would depend on the context that you're looking at, in a way, because it's in two ways. We have people disappearing, right? And then we have other people that say everything is normal. So to me, as a human rights defender, I don't think Zim would be peaceful in the sense that we look at peace. Because if it was peaceful, then we wouldn't have, a lot of claims and allegedly that are happening around. So I guess I would say it's not really that peaceful.
And you, what do you think about that? Are you seconding Thato or you beg to differ?
Thanks, Seagirl. I just identify with the view that she's sharing, right? Maybe to add on, usually we understand peace from two angles. There is what is referred to as negative peace, as in minus peace, right? Which refers to peace which is not there. Yes, in this way we are saying peace is there only in times of war. Just because there is no war, then there is peace. But this kind of peace is on the opposite of the other understanding of peace, which is positive peace. When we are saying positive peace means all forms of violence are not there. Economic violence, political violence, social violence, and other social systems that are reducing the enjoyment of life. Mm-hmm. Right. So at the moment we don't have war in Zimbabwe, but there's a lot which is reducing the way we enjoy life. We don't enjoy life.
Yes. Yeah. How can you say there is peace when the economy is bad? Is that what you're saying? How can we have peace when
you don't have freedom of speech and you don't have freedom on social media and all that? How can you say you have peace?
Yeah, that's the thing. Which brings in also the issues of disappearance of the people. Mm-hmm. The question is, what is it which is influencing the disappearing of the people underneath the underlying causes? Mm-hmm. There is something which is a pointer that there are problems somewhere.
Exactly.
It also goes back to how you actually can't protest now, because it seems as if you're attacking the government in a sense.
Yes.
Where at least you're trying to at least exercise a right, but then you can't do that, and then we can't then claim that there is peace when you don't actually have that space to actually exercise certain rights that you have.
That freedom, because the moment we say there should be a protest, and then people are scared to go out there and stand up for their rights because
there are police everywhere. Now you've got these huge cannons and everything parading everywhere, and you just have to sit tight because you wanted to exercise a right.
Yeah, we can't on that peace. Yeah. On that note, we're saying our theme is shaping peace together. So, and it's actually this year's theme, hey? And so, are we saying that us as the youth, can we shape peace together? Can we?
Yeah, okay. For me, as the youth, it is possible to shape peace together, but then it also needs us to be on a certain level ground where we are working together to achieve a similar goal. Because even if you look at the movements that are happening on social media, we are all advocating for different things, right? So at some point, our goals become distorted because we do not have a similar path that we're going to. We think somebody else is struggling. If somebody is putting their hashtag there, if I come with my hashtag here and I am going towards that path, I am now attacking the other hashtag. So we don't have that unity together. That we I think we need to build that up. We need to actually work as youth and have a similar mind and a similar goal. And realize that if somebody else is advocating for this, that does not make something else lesser than the other. You can't say Zimbabwean lives matter and you say, oh, besides, Zimbabwean lives matter, yes, LGBTQ rights aswafuni, sex workers aswafuni, we don't want this, we don't want that. But you're saying Zimbabwean lives matter, so
how do they then matter?
What matters there? Are you saying certain lives matter then others don't?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think at some point we all need to come up with a similar goal and work towards that.
Yes, no discrimination.
Yeah. When Thato is speaking, what comes to my mind is the issue of power. Right. As the youth, we have the power within us to work together and bring about the desired change. Yeah, there is what is referred to as power over, which is power used by those who are above us, especially linked to coercion or some form of force. And there is what is referred to as power with, which brings in the element of engaging everyone who is involved to work together for the transformation of the problem. So as the youth, this is the kind of thing that we can use, where we can adopt a power with. We are saying she has power in a certain area, he has power in a certain area, they have power in a certain area. Can we come together and talk about the problem we are facing at the moment and then we find solution? So I think we have that capacity. If we realize it and we take some action.
Yeah, I think what takes is action, because people are actually, it can be all talks, the hashtag, we've seen the hashtags on social media, but what action has been done? Nothing.
No, but action is there. But then, in as much as action is there, there is that fear in that action. Because not everyone, I think at some point, even citizens expect radical action. Not everyone has that radical sense, because now we can't act like South Africa. Malema can say Zimbabweans need to doy and take everything, but then this is Zimbabwe. In our context, it's different. I can't take to the street and do that because I'll be shot dead. I can't take to the street and lift a banner because I'll be arrested for carrying a banner. Our context is different. So I think action is there, but it's not on the context that we are now used to. It's now at a different context, because we have now a lot of limitations in how we execute our things.
I'm thinking the issue of participatory engagement, where we are saying for everyone who is doing some action elsewhere, can we put our effort and our resources together? And we say we have a common problem which we are solving, right? Can we not have the youth-led organizations or some individuals coming together to make a way forward, to say, okay, this is the problem that we have. What is it that we can do so as to deal with this problem? Yeah.
Okay, ladies, you are speaking your intelligence. So my next question would be, do you think is the environment conducive for young people to do the shaping piece? I mean, what needs to change in the environment? I mean, we've spoken about all those problems and togetherness, bringing in resources, power. But do you think that what exactly do you think needs to be done, to change? What is it that we need to change? Can we identify those factors?
Well, what comes to my mind is the issue of there is a triangle that we usually use called ABC triangle. It's common in peace building, right? A being attitudes, B being behavior, C being context. And in the middle of it, there is issue of needs versus fears, right? Our needs will influence our fear, and our fear will influence our need. And in turn, they influence needs and fears, influence our attitudes, our behavior, and our situational context. You get the point?
Yes.
So in a way or the other, we may need a transformation right in our in our attitudes, which has to do with the way we think and the inner self, the state of being, in light of the situation that we are facing. Yeah, because most of us, we struggle because of selfishness. We are very, some of us, we have the capacity today to raise the USD so as to continue with life. But we don't think into consideration what happens to that grandmother next door, that child-headed family, that youth coming from a child-head who is heading a family. Yes. Do I ever think of saying, let me think in the context of this youth next door?
It's all about as long as I'm comfortable, I don't care.
I think so. So we need to change our attitudes, which will then influence our behavior and then transform our context.
How we still can't coexist together as different tribes without raising that you are this, I am that, and this and that should not. We need to actually unlearn that, because in as much as a lot has happened in the past, and I am not disputing that, I know we all suffered from that. But can we not be carrying our parents' anger and our grandparents' anger to the generations to come? Because it seems like it's what we keep doing, and at some point it has caused a rift in most of our youth. Because even if you take it to social media, a day doesn't go by without those comments. A day doesn't really go by, because it now feels like our lives as
become the norm.
This generation now revolve around this. In as much as there is talk of peace and reconciliation, well, I'm not sure how sincere that is, but our lives have always now revolved around this. So we need to unlearn a lot of things, and it starts from grassroots level, going up. I don't think at this point our generation has it to let go, because we're still fueled by that anger that we're not even aware where it comes from.
Secondary trauma, and secondary trauma is very dangerous, and it can actually, looking at the Rwandan situation, what happened in 1994 in Rwanda is a reflection of something that started in 1959.
Exactly.
And repeated itself in the 70s. And then it came in the 80s, and finally there was killing of each other in 1994. So these things, they will always go and recur. So maybe as the youth, we may need to ask ourselves, what's the starting point? Instead of bearing these things, let's talk about them. We agree on agreeing. On even on disagreement, but we respect each other as individuals, as human beings. We respect each other, we care for each other, we always seek non-violent ways of dealing with each other and addressing the problems.
Exactly. Because if you still take it back to your constitution, our constitution in Zimbabwe, it talks about non-discrimination based on gender, race, or tribe, it touches on all that. Yet, for some reason, we will cry when a certain sector does not align with the constitution, but as individuals, we're not even aligning with the very same constitution.
So it won't help. So there's a lot that needs to be done here, that needs to be learned, and hope viewers, you're learning and you are catching up the points, and we need to stay, together. Unity is important. So where's the peace? Hey, can actually be, change this whole thing. So on to that leads to my next question, which is saying, all is currently running the change, silencing the guns. What does that mean for us as peacemakers? Ladies, you want to speak on that. Silencing the guns. What
Oh,
does that mean?
Yeah, silencing the guns, a very common concept these days, and a lot is said around them. And the question that I've had is it possible?
Is it possible? Yes.
Yeah, is it really
What does it
possible?
mean for us?
And what does it mean to us, people living at this time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that comes to my mind is, why did the guns start?
That. What triggered?
What triggered? Yeah, because silencing them imply getting to address the underlying causes, underlying factors, underlying issues that are influencing them. I want to give an analogy of a tree. Whenever there is a tree, say it's a mango tree, we always see the leaves and maybe the fruits, right? But we don't get to think about the roots, which is where the issue is.
Yes.
Once the roots of the tree are affected, the wellness of that tree is no longer there. It's just like any other problem that we are seeing. What we are seeing is a reflection of the problems that are underneath.
Exactly.
Yeah, so for me, silencing the guns mean we need to get transformed to a situation where we transform the situations which are influencing any general problem which is there.
And for you, Thato, you want to add that?
Okay, for me, I think it's almost the same thing Sato has said. Like silencing the guns means it's actually addressing the issues instead of curving around them or trying to find a counter solution without actually looking at what's actually starting. Because it seems like as a nation, it's what we're good at. We find counter solutions of something. When there's fire now, we'll actually find a solution to put out the fire instead of finding out what started the fire.
Yeah.
So it's what we're good at. So at some point we need to actually go back to the roots and be like, okay, so the youth are saying this, maybe the problem lies here. So maybe if we fix this, this would actually be kept. So we need to actually start addressing issues. And I think we actually need to hold each other accountable as humans. We have policies that are not aligning, right? We have government structures that are not doing what they're not supposed to do, what they're supposed to be doing. We have a lot of things that are not in part, but we're not holding each other accountable. We are just running mouth and causing fires, and somebody else is putting out fires without actually looking at the root cause of everything. We need to sit down and hold each other accountable for everything.
Yeah. Actually, as Thato is speaking, what comes to my mind is some triangle. I always love to use this. They bring the point home. Some triangle which is referred to as the MultiLevel Triangle. At the bottom of it, the triangle is divided into three. At the bottom of the round, which is the wider base, is the general population, me and you. And then at the middle part is the local governance, our immediate leaders. And at the top part, the very few, our seniors, the government level, the government leaders. Right. What we see is that us as the general populace, we vote people into what? Power. So we are the power holders in the first place. And then we give that power to these people so that they lead us. You get the point?
Yes.
What does that mean? It means that
The party.
exactly, we have the power to make these people realize that they are not doing what we put them there for.
Exactly.
So accountability comes in there. We have to believe in ourselves as individuals.
Yes.
So it's the beginning, it's the starting point. So for me, silencing the guns, in a way or the other, it should involve us, the grassroots people,
Yes.
where we get to say, let's hear something.
Thank you so much, ladies. You had it for yourself. We are the grassroots people, and for change to come, we need to initiate that change. We need to take a stand and stand up for it, and to empower the peace, the unity, and tranquility. So this was very exciting topic on this week's episode of Accountability Conversations. And thank you so much, Miss Zakhe and Thato, for joining me. It was a lovely conversation. And
fun fact, my first name is Sandy.
That's a fun fact. That's a fun fact. So interesting. Hey, so thank you so much for joining us. If you were good, and you can comment on the comment section and share us what you've got to say about this whole peace change, shaping peace together as the youth. So tell us what you think, and thank you for joining the show. My name is Novuyo. Seagirl. Until next time, it's a bye for me.